no mistake. Water is Florida's most valuable natural resource, fueling everything from agriculture to our multi-billion-dollar tourist industry. Protecting our waters will protect our jobs. Water, not oil, generates jobs in Florida.
The Treasure Coast is experiencing a crisis. Grassroots organizers are forcing our politicians to stand up and take notice. Immediate action must be taken to save our environment. After all, it's not just the people that live on the Treasure Coast. The water quality of the St. Lucie and Indian River Lagoon has been so severely damaged that in many places the water is not safe to touch. Seagrass beds are dying along the Indian River Lagoon. Dolphin deaths are increasing. With the loss of tens of thousands of acres of seagrass beds, manatees are losing vital food supplies, and vital habitat for fish spawning is vanishing at an alarming rate.
I'm Mark Perry, Executive Director of Florida Oceanographic Society here on Hutchinson Island in Stuart, Florida. We're basically talking about the Indian River Lagoon and St. Lucie Estuary, and here at the southern part of the Indian River Lagoon, which extends from Cape Canaveral all the way down to Jupiter Inlet, about 156 miles long. It's about a mile wide, and right here on Barrier Island, it's a barrier between the open Atlantic and the mainland. And so this long, shallow lagoon has a great resource for growing seagrass beds, and seagrass is a great habitat for the Indian River. But inside the Indian River, connected, is the St. Lucie River. And the St. Lucie River has a North Fork and South Fork tributaries which come together at Stuart and then head east and join into the southern part of the Indian River Lagoon at the St. Lucie Inlet. Now, all of this comes together right here in this location. And its great diversity of marine life provides over 4,300 different species of plants and animals right here in the south part of the Indian River Lagoon.
Just across the lagoon from the Florida Oceanographic Society is the newly designated Bird Island Critical Wildlife Area. An island just over an acre in size, Bird Island provides a vital nesting rookery for roseate spoonbills, wood storks, great egrets, and several other species. Both the St. Lucie and Indian River Lagoon are suffering from poor water quality. Residential fertilizer runoff and septic tank leakage pose a serious challenge to improving water quality. The St. Lucie River is further damaged by water runoff from Lake Okeechobee. Water that should be heading south through the Everglades has instead been regularly diverted to the St. Lucie River with devastating results.
Hi, I'm Paul Gray. I'm the Science Coordinator for Audubon, Florida. And we're standing today right next to the St. Lucie Lock on Lake Okeechobee. This is the largest gate on Lake Okeechobee, and when the lake gets too deep and the Corps of Engineers need to lower the lake for the safety of the dike and the health of the lake, more water can come out of this structure than anywhere. So here we are at the structure that dumps all this water down to St. Lucie. During the 2004 and 2005 hurricane years, a whole lot of water was dumped out of Okeechobee down the estuaries, and actually we dumped enough water to meet the water supply needs of the Lake Okeechobee service area, all the farms around the lake, for a total of 6 years. That's how much we dumped during those 2 years. It was a big disaster to the estuary. It turned it completely fresh. The water was very polluted. There was all kinds of algae blooms. It's just a horrible event. And the ironic thing is after we dumped Hurricane Wilma's water in the spring of 2006, in the spring of 2007 we were in a drought, and the farmers in the EAA were getting severely rationed. And we just dumped 6 years of water supply for them. And so what we have right now is a water management system that when it's wet, it wrecks Lake Okeechobee, it wrecks the St. Lucie estuary, and when it's dry, we don't have enough water left for farmers. And that's part of the reason why Everglades restoration is supported by almost all groups, is because what we're going to try to do is catch this water north and south of the lake in a beneficial way, and eventually move it south back to the Everglades where it's needed, and quit dumping it down the St. Lucie Canal where it's harmful. And so that's why everybody kind of agrees on this, is because when we rebuild the system, it's going to be better for everyone.
What the future holds for the St. Lucie and Indian River Lagoon is completely in our hands. An integral part of Florida's larger Everglades restoration project, our waterways are vital for the sustainability of our environment as well as our way of life. The St. Lucie and Indian River Lagoon must be cleaned up. Fertilizer ordinances are a start, but farm runoff must also be dealt with. Septic tanks should be converted to treatable sewer systems so that septic leakage will not seep into our underground aquifers and our river systems. Redirecting water flow from Lake Okeechobee south back into the Everglades is a critically important step. Add to these changes the compounding effects of sea level rise, and it's easy to see that we really do have two rivers in crisis. One might think that all is doom and gloom, but in fact we can make positive changes to our environment. But without the political willpower to take the necessary steps to correct our damaged environment, it really could be a gloomy future for the Sunshine State.